Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome again to another weekly product sharing webinar. My name is Chihi and I'll be your MC for tonight. So I'm sure all of you are excited for tonight's main session. Our speaker, Mr. Ivan Mang, is a senior nutritionist who majored in dietetics in Iowa State University in the United States. And he has over 12 years of experience in the field of nutrition and health advisory field. And he has spoken at more than 400 health seminars in Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, and Indonesia. So tonight, the topic he's going to share with us is Beware of Silent Killer, Care for Your Heart. So I'm sure everyone is anxious to hear what he has to share. Without further ado, let us welcome Mr. Ivan Mang.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chihi, for your wonderful tee up. And then I would like to say thanks to Mr. Chihi for your wonderful tee up. Okay, so everybody, how are you today? I hope everyone is happy, go lucky. Okay, so we all know that recently the COVID has been struggling us for almost 2 years, right? I think, yeah, almost 2 years. And then, yeah, actually although the COVID-19 is very, very serious, we don't underestimate the silent killer, which is the heart problem, like cardiovascular disease, like stroke, like hypertension, because I guess you all can always hear about in the news or the newspaper that, oh, somebody just passed away during his sleep, or somebody just passed away during his time to walk around, right? So because why we call that heart problem is a silent killer, because there's no symptoms. Yeah, there's no symptoms, there's no signal for you, and then suddenly people just pass away. So most of the time when we talk about the heart problem, right, we know that the first step is the hypertension, which we always call it in the short form HBP. So it's hypertension, because hypertension has no obvious symptoms to indicate that something is wrong. Yeah, if you do not check your blood pressure regularly at home, you wouldn't know whether you are in a normal range or whether you are in hypertension. So that's why this is very, very serious. So you wouldn't know what will happen next. So hypertension has no obvious symptoms. The best way to protect yourself are being aware of the risks and making changes that matter. That's why we always say that hypertension is the silent killer. Yeah, because most of the people who have it don't have the symptoms, and that silence can be deadly. Okay, so hypertension can lead to a host of serious problems, including heart attack, heart failure, stroke, diabetes, and so on. Okay, so this is a chart that actually we know more about the blood pressure stages. Actually, for normal blood pressure, okay, we always recommend people to have a reading of 120 and 80. That is the best. Okay, but of course, if your blood pressure, if you are doing the blood pressure test, so every time in average 125, okay, within 125 or within 125 and 80 something, which is still okay, but it depends on the rising of the ages also. So if let's say if an elderly is like 60 plus or 70 plus, of course their blood pressure will shoot up to 130 or 130 something, which is still okay for elderly. Okay, so for elderly which has a 60 age or 70 age, okay, age of 60 or age of 70, okay, so it's very, very challenge, very hard for those group of people. They maintain 120 and 80. So for normal people, if your reading is always in 120, 80, then you'll be fine. Okay, so the hypertension stage 1 is actually if your blood pressure reading is more than 135. Okay, 135, and then below is like 85 or 86, then this is a signal for you. You need to, okay, you need to be aware of the risk. Okay, and making your changes like sleep early, then eat well, okay, drink more water, avoid or some alcohol, reduce the amount of alcohol, or quit smoking. All right. So if your reading is always 140 and above, okay, so this is actually a very clear signal for you. You might have hypertension or pre-hypertension. Okay, so you need to take care of it. If you test 10 times, okay, out of 8 times or out of 7 times your blood pressure reading is more than 140, then okay, you need to be taking care of your body. All right. So signal of high blood pressure, actually they do have signal of high blood pressure, but most of people, they do not aware, or they didn't know what is happening. Actually, if you always have migraines or headache, then it's actually a signal from your body is telling you you might have the chance to get a high blood pressure. Or even you have shoulder pain always, or which area of your body is actually pain, that means your blood circulation doesn't go very smooth. Okay, so maybe hand, or maybe legs, or maybe body, which part of your body is actually you feel pain always, is actually your body is telling you that area of blood circulation doesn't go very smooth. Okay, and if you think that you always cannot remember something, hey, where's my key? I remember I put on the table, but I cannot find it. Okay, it might be a symptoms of you are getting high blood pressure. Or numbness. Okay, fingers, your hand fingers, your toes numbness, or your legs numbness. Okay, is also a signal you might your blood pressure reading is very high. Okay, and hazard of hypertension will lead you to what? To stroke. Okay, to stroke, to kidney failure. Okay, and maybe you will lose your vision. Okay, because below our eyes, actually we have a lot of blood vessel. Okay, so if your hypertension is very, very serious, you might lose your visions. Okay, and of course we know that hypertension will lead to a heart attack and heart failure. And apart from hypertension, actually the high blood fat is also your high lipid in your around your heart and your organs is also a very serious issue as well. And then what makes your blood vessel has a lot of lipid, a lot of fat. Okay, the first thing is genetics, and then second thing's belly fat. So you can see when people in middle age, like they will have a big belly. Okay, some people will say, oh, this fella drink a lot of alcohol, so he has a belly, or alcohol belly. Okay, so actually it's a signal it's telling you, okay, your blood pressure might be shooting out as well. And then not enough exercise, okay, poor diet will also lead to your high lipid in your body. Okay, so you can see, I always hear from people that I always get migraine, and then migraine leads me to cannot sleep, insomnia. I have insomnia because my head is I always got the headaches and migraines, and then I always feel dizziness. Actually, those are the symptoms that that is telling you might get a stroke. Okay. Okay, so let's see some statistic from Malaysia. It's about 6 million of adults, mostly are men, are believed to have developed hypertension. Okay, actually, which is more than 20% of total population of Malaysia, which means 1 in 5 Malaysian, okay, actually believed to have developed hypertension. But sadly to say, 64% of patients did not undergo a health check for hypertension. That's why I always tell people hypertension is actually a silent killer, because most of people, they didn't aware. You see, they are believed to have developed hypertension, but most of them actually didn't undergo a health check for hypertension, because those people, they didn't aware. Okay, so just ask yourself, how many times you go and check your blood pressure in a month, and then how many times you go to do a full body checkup in a year. But I guess most of people, they didn't even do it in 4 years, 5 years. they didn't do it once in 5 years. Okay, so in the world, about 1 in 3 adults in the world who are 30 years of age or older suffer from high blood pressure. So when I was young, I was told that, oh, high blood pressure is mainly for elderly. Those elderly like 50 years and above, 60 years and above, it matters them. But I don't think so. Right now, I can easily to hear the news from people who are in 20 years and above, they get hypertension already, okay, because of our diet. So, right, because of our diet, like we like to eat Western food, and then we sleep very late, and then most of people, they smoke and drink, right? So it's become from 50 years and above, and then reduced to maybe 30 years and above, or 25 years and above. Okay. And then China press also mentioned about 6.2 millions of Malaysians are suffer from high cholesterol, which greatly increases the risk of heart disease. Okay, so 6.2 million of Malaysians. So can you imagine how many population in Malaysia is like around 33 millions. Okay, so 6.2 millions of Malaysians actually is almost 1 in 5 Malaysians are suffer from high cholesterol. Yeah, so this statistic is really we need to be noticed, and we need to be taken care of. Okay, and then there are also 40,000, okay, 40,000 new cases of heart disease in every year. So just imagine, a year is only 365 days, so divided by 40,000, okay, so is a very horrible statistics. This is equivalent to 4 new heart diseases cases in every hour. So in an hour, there are 4 new heart disease cases in Malaysia. So can you imagine like how horrible and how serious is actually heart disease in Malaysia? And also, this is the statistic from Singapore. I believe there are some audiences from Singapore. Actually, Singapore is also quite serious for cardiovascular disease, because in every day, 16 people die from cardiovascular disease. So can you imagine, like in Singapore, it's only 5 million population, but in every day, 16 people pass away because of cardiovascular disease. And then nearly 1 in 3 death was due to cardiovascular disease, which is the heart disease or stroke. Okay, so it's very horrible. It's very serious in Singapore as well. And then stroke in Singapore, okay, so 4 in 5 cases of stroke is actually due to blood supply to the brain is blocked by a clot in a blood vessel. Okay, which means what? You are lacking of oxygen. Yeah, because we know that in Singapore is a very stressed country, right? Yeah, it's well known in stress. So most of Singaporeans, they are having stress, okay, because of the work, because of the family matters. Okay, so when you are in stress in a long term, actually your brain will reduce your oxygen amount in your brain. Okay, so stroke in Singapore is very serious as well. And then stroke accounted for up to 1 in 14 deaths, and together with related diseases, and it was the 4th most common cause of death in Singapore. Okay, so as you can see, from 2017, 2018, 2019, total number of deaths is keep increasing, and then heart-related diseases is also increasing. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, every day 16 people die from cardiovascular disease. And in 2017, on average, there were 33 heart attacks and 21 strokes among Singapore residents every day. So just imagine, every day, 33 heart attacks and 21 strokes cases among Singapore. Okay, and cardiovascular disease accounted for almost 30% for all death in 2019, which means for the all death cases, cardiovascular disease, which is heart disease and stroke, okay, is accounted for almost 30%. Okay, death in 2019. This means that it's nearly 1 out of 3 deaths in Singapore is due to heart disease and stroke. So this is the statistic shows us this is something we cannot be underestimate. the silent killer, which is cardiovascular disease. Okay, so why do we need blood inside our blood? Why do we need inside our body? Okay, because the blood, okay, the blood actually inside blood they have oxygens. Okay, oxygen can help us to carry the nutrients to our body, okay, to our cells, and then oxygen also carry nutrients. Blood also carry nutrients to our cells, and then also carry hormones to our cells and minerals to our cells. And then in the same time, they help us to carry out the toxins which produced by the cells. So it's very, very important. Okay, but too many things that we cannot be avoided. Okay, too many things we cannot be avoided, such as what? The age. When you are 18 years and above, actually your blood vessel will become narrow and narrow. Okay, become narrow and narrow. This we cannot be avoided. And then the second, we are staying in Malaysia and Singapore. So many kinds of foods, right? Like Malay food, so fantastic. And then Chinese food is so awesome. Indian food, Western food, right? So actually in Singapore and Malaysia, we are so-called the food paradise. Yeah, so many types of foods. Yeah, so this is something that we cannot be avoided. Although we always say, hey, we need to eat healthy. How many people will do this, right? So in front of the food, okay. So most of the people, I believe, they cannot, okay, be avoided to eat fried foods, barbecue and greasy food, especially for the Chinese, right? Yesterday was the Mid-Autumn Festival, right? I believe many Chinese will do barbecue at home. Yeah, because I saw that a lot of posts on Facebook is all about barbecue. So you see, we cannot avoid this. Okay, and then also seafood. Yeah, seafood. Like Malaysia and Singapore also well known on seafood. Yeah, especially like our friends from Borneo, we have a lot of seafood, right? So you see, we cannot avoid the seafood as well. Okay, and quality of life. Yes, which means we cannot sleep early, right? If I ask you to sleep at 10 o'clock, is it possible? I don't think so, right? Sometimes we still have meeting after meeting. Sometimes we still have event at 10 p.m. Okay, so it's very challenge for us to have a good quality of life, like good exercise, sleep very early, eat well. Okay, so those are the factors that we cannot be avoided, and those factors are actually increase our risk of getting the cardiovascular disease. Okay, so just now all the factors will cause our blood vessel from number 1 to number 6. Yeah, can you see the difference? Number 1 to number 6. Like I sleep very late, I drink alcohol regularly, then I smoke. Okay, I eat a lot of fried food, I eat a lot of barbecue food. Okay, so those factors will cause our blood vessel from number 1 to number 6. So you see, number 6 is almost being blocked, almost 100% blocked, 90% blocked. Okay, so for all the audiences, can you tell me which level are you in? Are you in number 1, number 2, or number 5, or number 6? Oh, okay, actually you can comment. I think my blood vessel is number 3 or number 5, but I can tell you, nobody can tell. Nobody can tell your blood vessel is which number. Okay, because even though your blood vessel is 95% blocked right now, you still can listen to my talk. Even though maybe my blood vessel is 90% being blocked, I still can talk to you. That's why precaution is very important. We need to always do a full body checkout to check whether our blood vessel, how many percent of our blood vessel is being blocked, or we do some precautions. Okay, we eat some natural food. Okay, we eat some supplements. Yeah, we have to do precaution, because none of us will know actually which number is our blood vessel. Okay, so you see, for natural food, we have algae. Algae is very, very good, okay, to help us to reduce the risk of getting cardiovascular. Why? Because algae can provide a balanced and complete nutrients to our body cells. And also algae can clean our blood. And also algae can increase our red blood cells amount and support the body immune defenses. So actually it's a natural gift to us, algae. Okay, so we should regularly take algae as our food. And also omega-3 plays an important role to help us to reduce the risk of getting cardiovascular disease as well, because omega-3 has many functions. Okay, it's very important because if omega-3 plays critical role in brain function, especially mood and memory. And also the most important thing is inside omega-3, it contains EPA and DHA and can help us to reduce inflammation, protects our blood vessel from being attacked by the free radicals. Because if the free radicals always attack our blood vessel, okay, so we can get stroke easily because inflammation. Okay, so EPA and DHA can help us to reduce inflammation and protects our blood vessel. And then omega-3 can also help us to easily travel through the brain cell membrane and interact with mood-related molecules inside our brain. Okay, and also have the anti-inflammatory action that may help to relieve our depressions. So it's very good to our brain, omega-3. And then also tomato is very good to protect our heart as well. Okay, because inside tomato there's a good nutrient which is called lycopene. It can help us to lower our levels of LDL, or we always talk about the bad cholesterol. Okay, as well as they can this lycopene can help us to maintain our blood pressure. And other nutrients in tomatoes like vitamin B, vitamin E, and the strong antioxidants, chloroflavonoids, can help us to boost our heart health. And also lycopene can slow down and reduce the inflammation, boost our immune system, and lower our cholesterol levels. So tomato is very good, okay, to protect our heart. And then also we need nitric oxide to help us to reduce the risk of getting cardiovascular disease. Okay, because nitric oxide maintains the flexibility of our blood vessel. Okay, and also it can also slow down the build out of the plaque and expand our blood vessel so that it can also control our blood pressure level. Okay, so in natural food, we have beets, garlic, leafy green veggie, citrus fruit, pomegranate, nuts and seed, and watermelon can help us to boost out our nitric oxide levels. Okay, and also turmeric. Turmeric is very good. Okay, because inside turmeric we have curcumin. Curcumin is a natural anti-inflammatory compound, and it has been proven, okay, by many races, by many people, that turmeric is a very good nutrients that can help us to anti-inflammatory in our blood vessel and in our heart. Okay, it can also increase the antioxidants capacity of our body and may lower your risk of heart disease, because curcumin can improve the function of the endothelin. So the endothelin is actually a thin membrane that lines the inside of the heart and blood vessel. So if we get the endothelin dysfunctions, actually is a major driver of heart disease. This is when your endothelin is unable to regulate blood pressure, blood clotting, and various other factors. Okay. So talking about the algae, you don't have to eat so much algae in a day because you are fortunate to know alkane, right? So algae is actually spirulina. Okay, spirulina is one of the algae in algae family. Okay, and also alkane spirulina. Why we talk about alkane spirulina? Because alkane spirulina have 5 major nutrients. Okay, so if you can you can consume 30 tablets of alkane spirulina a day, is actually you complete, okay, the basic needs for a normal person. Okay, so alkane spirulina, why alkane spirulina is so famous? Because it consists of 5 major nutrients, 46 types of essential nutrients, which is from there we have alkane spirulina has 20 minerals, okay, including like calcium, potassium, sodium, magnesium, and so on. And also in alkane spirulina we have 18 types of vitamins, 18 types of plant protein, Okay, we have some carbohydrate, fat. The most important thing is the protein. Yeah, because especially right now during the pandemic, a good protein is very, very important to help us to boost our immune system as well. And also, this one, LX Young. LX Young, in Elkan, we have LX Young. This is a very, very hot cakes products. Yeah, and very, very awesome product, because inside the LX Young, we have actually a lot of vitamins like vitamin B complex, vitamin E, which is a very, very good antioxidants to help us to protect our blood vessel and heart from being attacked by the free radicals. And also we enhance the formulation with turmeric extract. So can you still remember like turmeric? Yeah, because in turmeric we have curcumin, is a very, very good source of anti-inflammatory. And also inside LX Young, we have the tomato extract. Okay, so just now you heard about tomato, right? How fantastic is tomato? So this one is like a 3-in-1. We have the turmeric extract, we have the tomato, and also LX Young is a nitric oxide booster. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about, I am so busy, like I cannot just stay at home, just eat tomato, just eat turmeric, right? So LX Young is another option for you, okay, to deal with these problems. And also we have EPA DHA in Elkan. Okay, so just now I mentioned about EPA DHA is a very, very good source of antioxidants and also anti-inflammatory. Okay, so you can wait for anything, but can your heart and blood vessel be wetted? So we must be grateful in every day, in every morning when we wake up. Yeah, when we wake up, because our heart is still functioning, and then I still can wake up and I still can go to work, and then I still can call my upline, I still can call my downline to follow up. Yeah, we must be grateful that our heart is still with us right now, working for us to sustain our life. So hopefully after this section, I hope everyone can care for every single heartbeat before it stops. Okay, so there's my sharing for today. I hope you learn a lot, and then I will pass the mic back to Mr. Chihi.
Hi, Mr. Ivan Mang. Can
Yeah.
you reshare your screen and go back to the page on the algae? Because one of our participants want to take a screenshot.
Yeah, sure. The algae, right? Yeah.
Yes, this one.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, ready? All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ivan Mang, for such a wonderful sharing. Thank you so much, because today, like for me personally, I learned about this whole series of products that can help us with our circulatory system. And especially right now, even though we're under the pandemic, but the heart disease is still the major killer in Malaysia and in many places worldwide. So it's really important for us to take care of our health, take care of our heart, and make sure that our hearts are functioning properly. So thank you so much, Mr. Ivan Mang, for sharing these products with us.